Hello everyone, I'm Sherry and welcome to Truth Talk Tarot. This is where we try and unravel any masks and identities and roles and that maybe we have taken on throughout our life. And this is a chance for you to see what roles, masks maybe, or facets of a mask that you identify with. And it's a chance for you to reevaluate those and decide if this is something that is for you or not for you. It just gives you the opportunity to really just examine these masks and identify them for what they are. Because through that awareness, then you're able to make a sound judgment and decision whether you want to continue to go forward doing the same thing, or is it time for change. So there's only a handful of types of mask, I would say almost like archetypal type of mask. And so what we're uncovering here in the reading is more about the facets of the different masks, or how we may manifest, like as a result of that mask, how it's being, how we present it into the world. So how that behavior is manifesting through us into the world. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And if you have any questions, there is a lot of information on my community page. I linked there the spread that I use and what the different positions are about. And I also have included on there what I call Truth Talk Unmasked, which is basically me doing a little rundown of the different readings I'm doing, and the mask, the facet of the mask, and kind of what was uncovered in that reading. So maybe if you don't have time to watch the full reading, because some of them are a bit long, then you at least get the highlight to dive into that work. It also links to my book, We Are Not What We've Been Taught. So if you really want to dive into this work to uncover who you really are or who you want to be, and to help you through the challenges of navigating the different masks that maybe you have adopted throughout your life, then this book would help you with that. So let's dive in. The first position that we have today is the mask position. So this is all about what is being talked about in this reading. For this position, we have the Sun and the Devil. Okay, so both of these cards came out together. And so it was really interesting that I saw this dichotomy that came out right away as we're talking about, why we're here, what mask we needed to uncover or unravel at this time. And with the Sun and the Devil coming out, it really is kind of telling me, when we think about the Sun, we're thinking about light. We're thinking about joy, happiness, things that bring light into our lives, or bring us, something along that effect. It's also, the light and the dark, the light, light and shadow aspect of ourselves. It can talk about, the way that I feel almost like the way these came out, because it came out like this with the Devil covering the Sun. I almost am getting this feeling like maybe what wants to come out in this reading is the fact that maybe we have a lot of inner conflict in ourselves. But I think what it comes out to be is, have you ever been around somebody that just set you on edge because maybe, or you're uncomfortable being around somebody because they are so nice, or they're so upbeat, or they have so much energy, so much enthusiasm that it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can take this. Like maybe you're someone that is uncomfortable around people that are very upbeat or have a lot of energy, because maybe you're somebody that doesn't necessarily resonate with that or feel comfortable around that. And the only reason that you might feel uncomfortable around people like that is because of, your upbringing, and you never, I don't want to make this sound like there's something wrong with you, because there's not anything wrong with you. It really is a conditioning thing, where maybe what you've been exposed to in your lifetime has made you a little bit more pessimistic, or a little bit untrusting of someone, like maybe thinking it's too good to be true kind of energy. Maybe you doubt or have skepticism around people that are just very bubbly and very light and airy, and that can come from this place of maybe not trusting that, not having faith or trust in something that looks too good to be true. We'll have to uncover a little bit more and see if that kind of is the thread, the facet of what we're unraveling here, is maybe that is the underlying issue, is maybe something around the fact that we have allowed ourselves or grown up in an environment that has made us untrustworthy of anyone that is too upbeat or too positive or too optimistic. So let's go ahead. We'll start doing a little bit of clarification and see what we get here. So to unravel this a little bit more. So we have intellect. So again, a card of the mind. And I really feel like this is something mental. I really feel like this is something internal that is like a mental battle. And I think it comes around, excuse me. I think that it kind of seeds and manifests around people that might have different conflicting beliefs. So maybe there's something that, when it could be an energetic thing. Let me point that out. So, it could be a frequency of energy, because we all resonate on different frequencies. And so when you encounter those folks that tend to be have a lot of light, like that are very very upbeat, very optimistic, have a lot of joy, just bring a lot of light into a situation or a room. If you feel uncomfortable, it's nothing, like I said, it's nothing that's wrong with you. Please, don't take it that way. It can be a frequency that you're used to. Your body is emitting or living at a certain frequency, and those folks are at a different frequency because it's different energy frequencies. So it might be that you're just not used to, your body, your soul, or whatever is not used to that frequency of energy. You haven't integrated it into your DNA, into your being yet. And so that's why you're probably more than likely, sometimes we encounter stuff like that because we're meant to integrate it. Our body is trying to integrate and get used to that frequency, to adapt it and to integrate it into ourselves. And so that's why it's always important to collaborate and work with other people and get to know other people in different energies, have different experiences, so that we can expand and integrate these different energy frequencies into our signature, so that we become more expanded, we can grow, become more vast. So what also came out was autumn, and what's this other one? Ascension. And that's what I feel like, and that's what autumn is, a time of fall. It's a time of change. It's a time when things kind of begin to die so that something can be reborn. And so when we encounter these different frequencies, and even when we're having this battle within ourselves, this dichotomy of, light and dark, even within ourselves, it usually is leading to some kind of growth, some kind of ascension, some kind of expansion within us. And that's what it's trying to do. So it's not surprising me that that's the story that wants to come out here, or the underlying facet of the mask is this challenge or struggle around maybe integrating certain frequencies of energy. So like I said, has nothing to do with anything maybe you're doing wrong. It's just a matter of that integration or getting used to accepting, or not that you have to go along with somebody or believe what they believe, but it's learning to be, like, accept someone else for who they are, and know that there's nothing that you need to, there's no need for your body to be repulsed by that, or your being, your soul to feel repulsed by that, or to feel put off, or whatever feelings you're feeling whenever you encounter someone that's different. And so understand, if this is something that's not you, this reading might not be for you, because I feel like the heart of this reading is around someone that maybe is a bit challenged or feels a certain way. I don't know what that way is, but feels a certain way when you encounter people that are different than you in some way. That doesn't necessarily mean that maybe you're racist or any of that kind of stuff. No, we're not going there. That's not what I mean. It really is about the fact that sometimes we just, because of whatever reasons, we have a hard time, like I said, accepting a certain frequency of energy, or being open to a certain frequency of energy that someone else might be emitting, because it's such a different frequency than our own, that we clash. It's that clash. Whenever you see, like, even like a difference of opinions, you can see that clash. You can see it out on social media all the time, where people have, they butt heads because they have had different experiences, they have different beliefs, they have different views. And so there's this, it's that contradiction. And that's what I really feel like, with the sun and the devil coming out here at the beginning, it's this contradiction of being, where we're up against something or someone that has a different frequency than us. And there's that kind of friction that happens as a result of that. And so how do we handle that friction? Are you someone, that, like I said, that if you start feeling a certain way within your body whenever you encounter someone that is different than you or is off-putting in some way, usually it's your body kind of putting you on alert to something. And it could be, putting you on alert because it doesn't understand whatever it's encountering. So it's like that alarm system going off in your body to alert you to something, which we kind of talked about at the beginning here, about like not trusting something that's different than us a little bit. And that's that fact of your body just not encountering a frequency that it's not used to. So it doesn't know what to do. And so it handles it in different ways, depending on your coping mechanisms or what your trained coping mechanisms are. So in the next position, we have, excuse me, I should have gotten something to drink. So in the next position, which the second position is the mirror position, we have the hermit. The hermit in the mirror position is what in the world is being externally is being reflected back to us at this time that we might need to learn. So this is a card of wisdom, a card of growth. So what's being reflected back to us is maybe the fact that, being uncomfortable around things that aren't the same, or different than us in some way, where if we don't understand something or don't understand somebody's beliefs or their viewpoints or something like that, we may react in a certain way. And that, we just may react. If you were comfortable with it, then there wouldn't be that reaction, to it. There's a reason why you're reacting. And so this is kind of telling me, with the hermit being here, the hermit is all about like inner wisdom. So there's like this knowledge that needs to be gained at this time. So if we go on to I don't think clarification needs to be said for that. We might do clarification for this one. So the next position is the flame position, and we have the 5 of Wands in this position. The flame position is all about basically what's internally is pushing us at this time to look at what this issue is. So this is when we're looking at this reading and uncovering things, this is basically why you're here. Okay, so this is what brought you to the table or brought you to the reading, why this is coming up at this time, what made you click on this reading to listen to it. Whatever that was, that's kind of, this is like internally what motivated you to take the actions you're taking to change what it is you're wanting to change, or that's coming up that might be from your subconscious that you're not even realizing that something wants to change, or is there's this need for growth. Going back, ascension, where's that ascension card? Going back to that, like awakening or ascension or growth. We talked about that. It's all about expanding and growth, and with the 5 of Wands coming out here, I read, I don't typically look in the tarot books at the tarot meanings of the cards. And for this one I did, because I was really curious about what it said for that and how that would apply to what was going on here. And I think it was very apropos or very fitting. So it says that this is a card of potential conflict and discord. There is rivalry and competition in your current situation, with egos bumping and jostling against each other. When confronted with diverse options, ideas, backgrounds, or cultures, it can be hard to accept these new perspectives. And see, I think this is the heart of the reading, the heart of the matter. This is the faucet that we're uncovering, is that there might be something that you're at odds with, and you're being alerted to it at this time, or you're being made aware of something that you're bumping up against, that you're being confronted with that is different, or something that you're not able to integrate at this time. So it can be hard to accept these new perspectives. Every person has something unique to offer you. Be open to the gifts and insights. Different worldviews bring and turn this friction into a tool for growth. This card can also be a sign of inner conflict. Keep your core values in mind as you work through your competing thoughts and feelings. So I think that's really the heart of the message here. So I do want to go ahead and pull, I think I am going to pull one of these Spirits and Shadows cards for this. But I think that the way that depicted or explained this card was absolutely perfect for this reading and what was coming out in it. Awakening. So we have ascension and we have awakening. And it's interesting that this falls on it because, the crow is all about new beginnings. It's about something dying off and something new beginning. So here we have not only awakening, but we have ascension. And this is all about growth. It's all this whole reading. Well, a lot of these readings honestly have been about growth in some way. Whenever we're doing this kind of work, it is about expansion. It is about uncovering things that are limiting us so that we can expand in our own lives, so that we can become more than what we have been previously. We're adopting new ideas and beliefs so that we can become bigger in our own reality. So I really feel like this is what the heart of the matter is. We'll go ahead and go on to the fifth position here. Fourth position, sorry. The fourth position is all about boundaries. So it's what boundaries we should be setting that maybe we're not. It's where we might think, the things that may be draining us. It's the things that may be maybe limiting us, maybe distracting us, maybe it's basically keeping our focus away from what we should be doing at this time. And with the Queen of Swords coming out in this position, the first thing I noticed was back here. I thought that those were all like monsters, like kind of like eyeballs, and they were like monsters. And I felt with the way she was holding the sword that she was almost like keeping them at bay, like she was holding her sovereignty and holding her own and her authority, and she was keeping them at bay. And when we have this, card of inner conflict, of having this conflict about coming up against something that is hard for us to integrate, with the light and the shadow, that maybe there's a shadow that is trying to be looked at, that is, you're having a hard time integrating it at this time, or a frequency of energy that you're encountering, that you're having a hard time, processing and understanding and integrating into your life in some way, or accepting, in some way, shape, or form. And so I really feel like with this being in the boundary position, it really is talking about quelling maybe our ego, our pride, things like that might be getting in the way when it comes to like, have you, whatever reaction that you might have to something that is different than you. Because I know, like I said, there's so many ways somebody can react. It's hard for me to kind of tell you, like, how somebody's going to react, because different people react differently. Some people, when they're confronted with something different, they'll run and escape. Sometimes when people are confronted with something different, they'll attack and go on the offense or the defense. It just depends on how you react to a situation. Sometimes people will, when they're uncomfortable with something or someone, they'll use humor or deflect in some way. There's different ways that you might, react, but it all comes down to what is driving that behavior, what's underneath it that's driving that, so that once we understand what's driving us to act in these ways or react in these ways when we encounter things, that's the work we're trying to do here. We're trying to uncover that so that now we can be aware of what we're doing, so that when we encounter it, our nervous system can actually take a break from itself. It can actually have a break and say, you can say when you encounter something different, oh, this is just something different. Let me just listen to what they have to say. And then, then I can ask whatever questions I want, or I can, being a little more open to it instead of resistant to whatever it is that is different. And it doesn't have to be anything like cultural differences or anything like that. It can be just as simple as a boss asks you at work to do something, and it's something you've never done before, and it makes you uncomfortable, and so now you're in this conflict because you don't understand something, or you may be resisting that, and then trying to understand that resistance of what's causing that resistance. And I think that's what we're kind of talking about here, is this like resistance that comes up around something that's new or different than what we know. Okay, something different than what we already know. So in the fifth position, which is our wave position, the wave position is all about what emotional truth wants to be felt at this time. We have the Strength card here. The Strength card in this position, I feel like with everything going on, it's like being gentle with ourselves, being compassionate with others and ourselves both. It goes back to what it said in the book about the Five of Wands, that we need to just be willing to be open to these different energies that come into our lives. It's not that we have to accept them, but be open to to expanding yourself in some way, because everybody has gifts, everybody has something to offer, and you don't know why that they've been put in your life. I mean, think of all the billions and billions of people on this planet, And there's only so many people that you encounter in your lifetime that you actually encounter. So when you encounter certain things, or even jobs, you only have so many jobs in your lifetime. There's only so many things that you experience in our short lifetimes, on short amount of years that we have on this planet. So think about that. In the vastness that is the world, you encounter these certain things. You encounter these certain things for a reason. There's something you're meant to learn from that person, that job, that thing, whatever. And so if you have this resistance, there's something you're not willing to learn. The universe is bringing it into your life because it wants you to see something. It wants you to learn something from that person, because that person or that thing has different experiences you've never encountered before. Just like if your boss gives you an assignment that you've never done before, it's an opportunity to learn something new. But if we're resisting that, we're resisting learning that knowledge that we're meant to learn for whatever reason. And yes, our free will, we can say no, but by saying no, we're limiting ourselves. We're limiting ourselves to saying no to the universe. I don't want this. I don't want to learn. I don't want to grow. I don't want to be bigger than what I am right now, or at least not right at this time. I'm not ready. And so it really is, we have free will. We can do what we want. But in this reading is coming up for those that are watching, that this is a time that it's saying, when you hit that resistance in your life against something, it's a time to say, either go inside and say, why am I feeling this resistance at this time, at this particular moment? Why am I resisting growing in this way, or understanding this, or bringing this into my life, integrating it in, or whatever that may be? Whatever, it's uncovering that resistance in you to deal with whatever that is, because you're putting your own block up, and it usually comes from something that within us that is a protection mechanism. Whenever we resist something or block something or resist something, it's usually something within us. We've had some experience probably in our life that has taught us that we can't trust whatever that is, because it's something different that we're not used to. And so with that difference, it makes us uncomfortable, and through that resistance or uncomfortableness, we push it away, or whatever. We handle it in a poor way because we're afraid of it, or we don't trust it. Okay, so I think we're almost ready to wrap this up. We'll get into the final position, which is the permission position. In this position, we have the Six of Wands. So with it being the Six of Wands, and this is what permission position is, the wrap up, the epitome of basically saying, okay, now that we've uncovered what this mask is, we uncovered what, may be hindering us, what may be stopping us, or what work do we need to be doing to try and, uncover or understand this facet of this mask. What now do I do next? How do I say yes to something, or which I think we've already kind of covered. With the Six of Wands being here, the Six of Wands can be all about success, victory, but I kind of like the fact that this guy's, even though he's holding his arms up, I feel like his arms are open wide, like to accept. And I actually love the fact that this gentleman's in a wheelchair. I absolutely love this, because this is somebody who is victorious even over the odds and circumstances of his life of being in a wheelchair. He's still able to achieve something. He didn't let that limit him. He didn't let that define him. He's actually still succeeding. Why? Because he kept pushing forward to grow. And so I feel like, I also like that this is the Six of Wands, when we had what's driving it is the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is having this conflict conflict, this dichotomy, this conflict within us of competing, of where our ego might be getting in the way when we have something that's competing against us in some way, and this is about competitions too. It's about overcoming something. And so, and I think even in the book, it talked about like overcoming, these obstacles through this conflict through being open and growing and being willing to basically challenge ourselves, to allow ourselves the ability to really be open to people or situations that are different than us. So I do want to go ahead and clarify that. I think what I want to do, let's see. I think I'll go ahead and still pull another Spirit and Shadow card on the Six of Wands. The Strength card, which we just had in our emotions, our emotional truth. So again, it really does take the strength of character of not being, how do I want to say this? Of not pushing something away. We have to be strong enough to say, I am okay to, how can I say this? I'm trying to think of a way to put this. It's kind of a strength of character to be able to, whenever you're faced with something that you're, for whatever reason, something is pushing, pushing it away or blocking it, or it's coming up into you, this resistance that's coming up within us. It takes the strength to overcome that resistance that you're feeling. So that's what I feel like with the strength, it's basically with the clarifying the Six of Wands, it's saying, it takes that strength. I mean, you look at the guy in the wheelchair here, and like I said, I love that this is a gentleman in a wheelchair, because he had to overcome quite a bit. He could have let things get him down and say, oh, woe is me, or play the victim or whatever, but he had to overcome that in those limitations in his mind. He had to have the strength to persevere. That's what I was trying to get to. Thank you. I love when I finally get there. It took me a moment, and I apologize for that, but sometimes it happens. We have to let the universe just do its thing, or the intuition or channeling, whatever, do its thing to get us to where we're trying to get whatever. I don't know why I said that. So I'm pulling it. This is from the Beast Soul Oracle deck. And we have Visionary Giraffe. And we have, look, growth, vision, foresight. You need to heighten my awareness and intuition. Awareness. We have awareness. We have awakening. We have ascension. It's all about growth. It's all about being willing to understand different perspectives, being open to new ideas, new things, to people that are different than you, situations that are different or challenge you in some way, not overcoming whatever resistance you may be feeling around these things, so that you're not limiting your opportunities to have more in your life. Because as I said, billions of people on this planet, thousands of opportunities, but there's only so many that you encounter in your short lifespan. So this is the time to really, think about that. Think about the vastness and the opportunities. So why would you turn something away? It's obviously meant for you. If it comes into your life, there's something there for you. It could be just to learn something, one small thing. It could be teaching you something. It could be just reinforcing a belief that you already have. had to say, yeah, it could be mirroring that back to you, where it's helping you reinforce something that you already believe in by seeing that dichotomy, or that, that difference of you and them. It helps you say, yeah, I like who I am. I don't want to be that. They can be that, all they want, but that's not for me. And it could be as simple as that, but that's why those things come into our lives, so that we can do that evaluation. And that's what essentially what these readings are for, is to help you do those evaluation processes when these things are coming up for us. Let's go ahead and pull messages of the, what is this, Cosmic Oracle, and see what we get. I kind of want to pull at least one of these, maybe two. We'll see what I feel here. So we have, you're too amazing to follow everyone else. Like we kind of touched on the fact that everybody has unique gifts and things that they bring to the table. Forge your own path. So be unique, be your unique self, which is all about what we're here to do. You must forgive if you want to be free. Do it for yourself. I feel like one more. I'm feeling one more. Let's go ahead. A little bit of faith goes a long way. Remember that. And I feel like this is forgiving yourself, faith in yourself, forgiving yourself anywhere where maybe you have had that resistance and pushed it away versus embraced it, or at least been open to it. Having that forgiveness that you didn't allow, were at that time maybe not strong enough to be open to something, or to at least give it a fair chance to, and then also, to have that faith and confidence in yourself. That's how we overcome obstacles. So, because you are unique, we're all unique. We all have our special gifts that we need to bring out and share with the world. And hopefully we're helping you get a little bit closer to that as we uncover through these readings, and uncovering these masks and different ways that we may keep ourselves small in the world, so that we can really shine our light and be our unique self. So thank you if you took the time to be here. I thank you so much. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I do have comments open, but you have to be subscribed. You can literally just subscribe and you should be able to instantly comment. I have it set that way right now for a reason. And it's not to gain subscribers. It's more about the fact that I want to make sure that people that are posting on my comments page are doing so with the best intentions in mind. There's not going to be those hecklers and the people that are going to challenge everything, because I want this to be a positive space. I want this to be a space where people can feel confident and safe in sharing what they want to share with the group, and hopefully getting positive reinforcement and feedback to help them grow, because that's what this is all about. This channel is about growth and trying to become better, be better people than we have been, or finding our true self so that we can feel confident in being the person that we want to be, whatever that is, whoever that is, that's for you to discover, and that's for you to figure out on your own. So thank you once again. I wish you the very, very best, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.